Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I have here an article from Business Insider written by a story by Chris Panella. I don't know if Chris Panella is a he, she, it, they, they, Kate, say, I don't know. And I don't give a fuck actually. But nevertheless, this Panella comes and writes a headline, a title of the article, like it's something new, it's something surprising. Probably for Panella it is, because I don't think Panella knows a lot. That is, we didn't pay attention a lot, or he paid attention only to one side, so he missed the rest. So let me show you what Panella says. Business Insider is from today, 2 hours ago, the 12th of September 2023. Putin says the US will be out to get Russia no matter who's elected president in 2024. Putin said this before, I will tell you. He continues here, tell that to frontrunners like Trump. So he implies, or Panella implies that actually Trump and the forerunners, probably Vivek, what's his name, Kapashwani, I know he's somewhere here. Anyway, he implies, or Panella implies, that those guys might be on Putin's payroll since they're not to get him, actually. But Putin is paranoid. Well, just as a matter of fact, when I was looking for this article, which I found it earlier, and I looked for it over here, I put the search words Business Insider, MSN, Putin says US will be out, and this is what it shows, and this is where I got the article. I didn't want to go get it from Business Insider because they want me to sign up and all that, and I don't do that. So that's why I said MSN, therefore I take it like a Romanian. So I found this interesting article right here, and I want you to focus on this one. This comes from Politico, it's from 2 weeks ago. And it says, just to show you how these guys are reasoning, or lack of. A Putin critic fell to his death in Washington. We still don't know why. Obviously, they imply that Putin killed him because that guy disagreed with Putin. That's the implication. If you read it, that's all, the whole thing. Now it's like, for instance, let's say former President Obama's chef got drawn in the backyard of Obama's house in Martha Vineyards without the Obamas being at home. So the guy was on the pedal board and he drowned in the water. Now let's say that guy, the chef, was beloved by the Obama family. Let's say he was a critic of Biden. Would that or Trump or Putin? Does it mean that if we find him over there dead, we immediately think that Biden did it, or Trump did it, or Putin did it? Of course not. This is an implication, without evidence, but they try to make a connection. This is the way these guys argue. But anyway, this is just to show you how these guys are reasoning. Besides, if I tomorrow disappear, it doesn't mean that I disappeared because of the government or the Biden. Maybe I disappeared with the lady of the night for 2 weeks. Or maybe, I don't know, I moved somewhere else. I took all my money and moved to Mars or something, or to Tahiti. How about that? Is that a possibility? So why is this hatred or criticism be the, how do you call it, the defining reason why? Like these guys, oh, I identify as this and I'm a blah blah. I don't give a fuck what I identify as. That's not what defines you to me. Your intelligence, your values, what kind of outstanding person you are, courage, strength. These are things. I don't care if you geese. I don't care, man. But some think that's the most important thing for them. Lust, how they take it or how they give it. Well, thank you very much. That's unimportant to me. The same with these guys. Because this guy says about Putin something and he flew a little bit, we don't know, but we imply. There's so many other reasons. You don't know what hanky-panky he did. Anyway, let's go back to this article here. So, we have this one. Putin says the US will, and I'm quoting, will perceive Russia as an existential enemy regardless of who wins in 2024. But, Chris says, but top GOP candidates like Trump and DeSantis, not Vivek, I'm sorry, are skeptical about the US involvement in Ukraine. I think Vivek as well. As Russia becomes more of a pariah state, who allowed Chris to write? I would like to know. Putin's warped worldview becomes more dangerous. Russian President Putin says the US view of Russia won't change regardless of who's elected president in 2024. I think that's 100% accurate. But here is what Putin actually says. Okay, so we like to use people's direct statements, quotations, quotes. And I'm quoting. What to expect from the future, no matter who the president is. It's hard for us to say, but it's unlikely that anything will change radically. Putin said, Associated Press reported. And he attributed part of the policies of the current White House, claiming that the Biden administration has pushed anti-Russian sentiments and I'm quoting, it will be very difficult for them to somehow turn this whole ship. All right, well, let me, if you're not familiar, I'm going to tell Chris, Panella. Putin said the same thing about 7 years ago. About 7 years ago, 7 years ago. That was when Hillary Clinton ran against Trump, if you remember. That was in 2015, and he got elected in 2016. So in 2015 must have been. It was, and I can't freaking find it. Maybe some of you watched it. I wanted to find it, and I couldn't find it. But one day maybe. It's 2015. Putin was interviewed, I know the exact setting, by two people. Sitting, and Putin was sitting here, the two people right here, I think they were French journalists, if I remember correctly, and here it was a glass, it was window, I'm sorry, it was a window, so it was the light, outside light, it was not the, the electricity. So these guys ask about, so who do you support, who Russia supports in the elections, Clinton or Trump? And he says, well, that's how he starts. I'm paraphrasing. I had the opportunity to serve, and meet about, I think he said, 4 presidents, deal with 4 American presidents. And I'm sorry to say, he said, they're all in the campaign, have good intentions. But he said, whenever they get in the office, nothing changes. The same as nothing changes. And he says, this was important, he says after about a day or two of these guys in the office as presidents, 2 people show up, or some people show up dressed, he said, like me, in a suit with ties. One, I think, with black suit, and the other one with khaki, or something like this. He refers to, we didn't understand exactly who were there. Anyway, so he said, and those guys tell the newly elected president what needs to be done, how the things are done. That's why he said, for us, we don't, first he said, we don't support, we don't interfere in anybody's elections and so on, because that was the attack. You interfered in the elections and blah, 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 blah. What do you say? He said, we don't care because of this reason. And he gives one example. He says, I remember when President Barack Obama came with some very good campaign slogans, and he said promises. And he says one of them was, if you remember, I'm going to close the Guantanamo Bay. And he said, why didn't he? Because they didn't let him. Now, who are they? Who are those? And with time, I realized who are those people dressed in black suit and in khaki with ties and glasses, sunglasses, right? So he said it then. For him, it was clear that what these guys are playing ball. Now it's your turn, then it's my turn, and it's your turn, it's my turn. He knew that then. So right now, nothing new. Now, if these guys say something, what's his name, Trump or DeSantis say something, DeSantis, I'm almost certain that if he gets elected, somehow, he's not going to change squat. He's going to get the list given to him, and he's going to follow it. I'm 99%. I like partly of what he did in Florida, but remember, initially, he had those guys with masks. He had the mandates over there. Then he changed, which was Very good. But do not forget, at the beginning, he followed the script. So the same here. But Trump is on the other side. He's going to probably try not to. So he's going to say, fuck the script, like he did the last time. But his orders will be not followed, will not fulfilled. Nobody would follow them. Like before, when he said, look into that, DOJ, they didn't give a shit. Get those guys out of Syria or whatever, they didn't. And he gave orders, but nobody listened to him. I don't want to say the deep marsh, I don't want to say that one, but the lower tier, how do you call it, the professionals, those guys blocked everything. And he changed the chief of this, chief of this, chief of that, assign this, assign, this one, appoint this, appoint that. Nobody listens to him. The bureaucracy did not give up about him. So he's like a general, but the surgeons don't, not surgeons, let's put the lieutenants. The lieutenants don't follow your order because you're going to bark your order with the colonels or the general to the colonels, and the colonels are going to go down to the, majors. The majors are going to go to the captain, and then the captain going to the lieutenant. And lieutenant will not do anything. So everything will going to stall right there. The same here. So he knows that even if Trump gets in power somehow, which I don't think he's going to get, okay, he's not going to change anything because the guys with glasses and suit and all that will not do it. The Strzok, the Milley, those guys, they will not do it, with the support of other ones behind them. So I don't know what this guy is, Chris, did not know shit actually, but he writes for Business Insider. Good for him, or her, I don't know, or for it. I don't know what he or she identifies as. So here it is, my friends. Putin has no illusions. Finally, you know why? He, Lavrov, and other Russian delusionals, I would say, not infantiles, I would say, they called the Americans and the European Union partners up to about 3 or 4 months ago. You call them partners? These guys are there to get you. What are you talking about? And you call them our Western partners. And those guys want to pull on you a Gaddafi or a Mussolini? Have you seen how Mussolini ended up? Have you seen how Gaddafi ended up? Have you seen the justice of Saddam Hussein? Have you seen that justice distributed? And I can go on and on, even to 1946 to 48 I can go there, but I will not. I just did. Anyway, so, all right, at least he doesn't have any illusions anymore that these are partners. These are not partners. If they can hang him by the balls in the Red Square and leave him over there rot, just look at Bolton. That's one example. Look at many. Look at Boot, that idiot. Anyway, thank you. And others. Dangerous people, dangerous. Not that Putin is not dangerous, but nothing changes, and he doesn't have illusions with that because democracy works here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it works. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.